Welcome to the CWC podcast with your host, David Selby, Justin Reed, and Andy Horton.
Welcome to the CWC podcast, the official podcast of the Chuckwagon channel. We are your go-to for Chuckwagon racing news, rumors, interviews, and stories. Also, a great way to kill some time. I'm your host, David Selby, joined by my co-hosts, Justin and Andy. How you guys doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Man, can't complain. In today's episode, we are going to cover news from around the Chuckwagon racing community. We're going to give some updates on the Chuckwagon channel, the things that are going on behind the scenes here, as well as a recap from this past weekend's race at RATS Chuckwagon Races held in Camden, Arkansas. Later in the episode, we're going to have a big announcement about our upcoming guests. We're excited to bring that up a little bit later on. We are recording on Thursday, July 25th, and we will be releasing episodes weekly. Our episodes are always pre-recorded, edited, of course, for Justin's profanity, and released on the Chuckwagon channel, as well as YouTube and hopefully other podcast platforms as we get established. Make sure you go and relive the ride at chuckwagonchannel.com and subscribe to our monthly and annual membership over there. And please follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, at the Chuckwagon channel. So, what's up this week, guys? What are you doing on a Thursday night?
A podcast.
Doing a podcast. Number 2. So, Justin, I know you've been moving, man. You got some stuff going on in your life.
Yeah, I have been moving. It's been a rough patch. Trying to move slowly but surely, but getting there amongst all the races and the podcasts and everything else going on in life. And but it's been good getting it done, and just hopefully I'll get it all done before Clinton.
Right on. Andy, I know that you said you're going to be shooting a wedding this weekend. So what's happening there? How'd you get roped into that?
Well, you know, I have friends and apparently I can't say no. So I'm not actually really shooting as such. I'm probably just going to wind up carrying a strobe around with a backpack with a battery in it, like Ghostbusters or something. So
It's awesome. Where's the wedding?
Oklahoma City.
Oh, OKC. Get a little fun. Have a little fun while you're in town there. Maybe do some shopping.
Yeah, no.
Well, I'm on my last, I guess, few hours here before I head out tomorrow morning for my personal final Chuckwagon race before the national championships at the end of August. I will be going to the B&B Farms Chuckwagon races up in Bryant, Indiana. Gerald and Nova Burkhalter and all of their Amish friends are going to be throwing down a pretty good party based on what I've heard. Everybody that's been up there has said really good things. So I'm excited. They have a little bit of a different format for their Chuckwagon races where they do what would typically be like a Saturday, Sunday race. They do it all in one day. So 2 races, one day, one really long drive for David. So I'll be driving between 9 and 10 hours tomorrow on the road, which is great because something is not feeling good in my knee right now. So sitting cooped up in a car, and I'm 6'5", by the way, I'm really tall. So sitting cooped up in a car is exactly what I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Be on the road all day. But on the note of the Chuckwagon race, I have not ever spent much time around the Amish, and so that's going to be a first for me. Have you guys got any experience or tips and tricks to be around the Amish?
I wouldn't say any tips or tricks or anything like that. They do have a different lifestyle than the rest of us. But I don't know how they're going to react to cameras and things like that. That'd be interesting to see how everything kind of works its way out.
Yeah, so I'm too ignorant to really know this, but I mean I've heard stories about them not liking to be photographed or filmed. So
Yeah,
I've actually
I think that has a lot to do with, who whether you're in an old order Amish or new order Amish, or what your bishop has to say.
Okay.
Right.
So don't shoot anybody that's older, but only film the young people. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying. They have like an old order Amish, which is kind of like if you were to think of Catholic versus Methodist, that would kind of be your style differences.
Mm.
So Catholic's a lot more strict, where Methodist is a little bit more lenient. It's going to be the same way with your older order Amish. It doesn't have anything to do with age. It just has to do with the type of strictness and things like that. So there's a lot of like older order Amish that don't even believe in. If your family, goes out into the world during Rumspringa, they won't have anything to do with you if you decide to stay, a part of the world. They they won't have anything to do with you for the rest of their life.
So at a certain age, an Amish youth will go out and see, like, get exposed to like the real world, like a vacation, and then they get to decide if they want to keep doing Amish stuff or if they want to keep on going other places.
Right. So,
Mm.
like the Amish, you won't hardly catch Amish out at the beach or anything like that, because they don't believe in, wearing clothing that's not covering all parts of your body other than your hands, and your face. Um, but during this Rumspringa time, they'll go out, and kids can kind of do whatever they want within the world, so that way they can experience what the world's like. And I will say this, from what I can tell, uh, probably 95% go back to the Amish.
Man, that makes a lot of sense to me because um, we live in a crazy world, and I would think that if you go from like super hardcore Amish traditional values and to being exposed to like modern day America, I mean, what if one of these Amish youth, like, what if they did go to like a Chuckwagon race, for example, and that was their experience? I mean, like they go to Clinton and they're like, oh, there's a buffalo on a rock. Let's venture over here. And, you know,
That
and then,
yeah.
and then they run straight back to the old order.
Right. No, but I think that's one of the reasons why some Amish enjoy chuckwagon racing, is because the cowboy way of life is not all that different. I mean, obviously there's some more spiritual reasons behind why the Amish do what they do, but you still have those morals and those ethics in the cowboy way of life.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I mean, when it boils down to it, I mean, yeah, there's some crazy racing happening, but it's ultimately good, clean fun. And I would agree. The people that surround the Chuckwagon racing community generally have very traditional values, and everybody's very nice. Everybody's easy to get along with, and nobody's forcing anything on anybody.
Absolutely.
All right. So, so yeah, I kind of wanted to get into a little bit of the news and notes here around the Chuckwagon community. So, a little bit of an announcement here: the grand finale, episode 7 of the Great Wagon Race, is being released tomorrow. But by the time everybody hears this, they will have already probably been exposed to the 7th episode. And wow, I personally, as the person that's been creating this docuseries, it's an incredible feeling to get the final episode done. Being that we're at Thursday, a little bit behind the scenes, I guess, it's like we're in another dimension. It's like we're talking, but we're talking to people next week. So hopefully this is still interesting. But like what I typically do is to make sure that Dan and Peggy and Dapple all are happy with that they agree with what I'm doing. Sometimes they disagree, but to make sure that they feel content with the content that I'm putting out there about their ranch and everything, I always send them whatever the episode is as like a private link, and I get their feedback, which for me personally, I just like hearing feedback at all. Like, did I miss something? Do you like this? Do you like that? What do you not like? And I sent it out to those guys today, and Dapple said that it's her least favorite episode because she's in it too much. But she said that she cried a lot, and that it was very good. So if you value Dapple's opinion at all, go check it out. It is by far my favorite episode. It actually was a little bit more behind the scenes here. That was the episode that I edited before I did the rest of the series. And with the help of Alicia Perry, who's been an editor on this project, and she has been absolutely incredible. But I edited episode 7 because I kind of wanted to start at the end and just do it in a non-conventional way. And through some crazy Chuckwagon magic, I think when we get to episode 7, it all just kind of falls into place. So I don't know. I did send the link to you guys today, and you were able to watch it. What are your first impressions?
Heavy. That started off very heavy.
No spoiler alert here.
Yeah, that's all I'll say. Is there was some emotional stuff in episode 7. So
It definitely was heavy. I mean, I fully agree with you that start of that episode is it hits you right in the gut.
Yeah.
yeah,
But I will say this: it did get on a lighter note. It ended on a lighter note. And
sounds like in general it worked for you guys. Are you satisfied?
oh, absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah. It's very, very satisfied. That was a great episode.
It's awesome.
But I thought episode 6 was a great episode, and I didn't know, coming up, I was like, I don't know how he's going to top that one, but you did.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, all right. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
me being the slacker that I am, I had to watch them all at once. So I went from a 6 straight into 7. So I had it was fresh. So I was like, what are we gonna do now? I mean,
Yeah.
And
Well, on episode 6, so last weekend Justin and I were both down at the RATS race down in Camden, Arkansas, and I got over to Keith and Rhonda Westner's camp, and where Brad House and Nancy Pillow and all those guys are hanging out. And sure enough, those guys, it's Friday night, episode 6 just dropped, and I just thought I'd show up and have a little fellowship. Maybe I'd just gotten into town, and it was getting dark, and Talon Westner, he's like, kind of comes over and starts bugging me about how I haven't shown him enough, obviously, in the rest of the docuseries, and his 4 mules and stuff from Clinton, and then he was like, "Yeah, we're getting ready to watch episode 6. If everybody would get here," and he was like real kind of grumpy about it. So I was like, "What? You guys are gonna watch the episode?" He's like, "Yeah, we're gonna get the projector out just like we did, I think, at Baker Spain and
the Redlands,
I
believe."
Man, that is so cool.
That's cool. That is cool.
Like I didn't expect that, but it's very humbling to like watch the thing that you created with the people that you kind of created it for, but in reality, like they really loved it, or they love the content, and so it was a really unique experience to sit there and like watch that with them and just kind of get absorb how they were receiving it. You kind of get out of your own shoes just a little bit, and I felt like everybody really enjoyed it. At the end of it, there was like 30 people at this camp, and at the end of it, everybody just stood up and they started clapping for me, and then they came and they gave me a trophy and a beer, and then they carried me out of the stadium on their shoulders. It was really great. No, but it was neat. It was cool. I probably won't ever forget that, getting to do that. So that was pretty neat. On the note of the docu-series, so here's a little bit of an update for everybody. So on my way down to Camden, I stopped in with talk with Dan and Peggy and Dapple. They're at the Western store there in Clinton, and kind of went through everything. We are on a bit of a crunch right now. Last episode, I kind of mentioned that we don't know what we're going to do at Clinton this year as far as capturing video and doing everything. You know, I'd like to think that we're going to do, another season, but doing these kinds of productions comes at a cost, and it's still so fresh that we're just getting season 1 done. We don't really know what what success will look like, if it's going to be there, if there's going to be a return on all of the time, and frankly, there's money involved. Obviously, you have to pay crew and people's time. So it was it was such a great day, honestly, because I got to go watch the 6th episode at camp. But that started off great because Dan and Peggy and Dapple, they just fully gave me their blessing. They said, we understand that things like this, it could take 3 to 5 years to pick up. It could take a while. And man, Dapple kind of said that out loud, and it changed the air in the room for me a little bit, because I was just like, wow, oh man, thank you. I mean, thank you for saying that, and that you believe in me enough that you would trust me with a project like this, that really you guys are the center of it, and you're a big part of making it happen. And so it's cool to know that they are fully behind it, even though, it's on a limited release right now. We're not just blasting this to the world and trying to funnel people into Clinton. That's not the point of this. We're trying to have control over this and make sure that it does the right thing. And Dan and Peggy, their interest is not to create an event that's twice as big. Their interest is in steadily growing something that is already really good, that people enjoy and they want to maintain. So kudos to those guys. They're just they always kind of reinforce what I know about them, which is that they're really good people, and that they have their hearts in the right place.
And I think, one thing is, if you look at when they started Clinton, it started as something just to do on a whim, and looking how it's grown over the years. So of course, they would be the one to say, because they've had experience with it. It's not something that'll happen overnight. And even if it does, if it's something that became an overnight sensation, most likely it would not last.
Yeah.
But something that is worth lasting is worth building.
Absolutely. Those are wise words. And it's crazy how sometimes you know stuff like that. Those things in your gut, but it really makes a difference when somebody says it out loud. Especially somebody that you care about, somebody that cares about you. And so there's revelation that comes from just hearing something from somebody else's mouth, even though you know it. And
Right.
that was a very special trip. There's been a handful of times that I could tell stories about when I went into a conversation, probably with a little anxiety, with the oafs or with Peggy or whatever. And it's always so refreshing, and it's even a little bit surprising every time somehow that they're just consistently just great people with their hearts in the right place. I love them. So it makes me want to do my job at an even higher level. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a season 2, and the Great Wagon Race season 2 is going to be bigger. It's going to be better, and not necessarily because there's going to be a whole lot more budget involved. So instead of us, spinning our wheels and trying to figure everything out for the first 6 months, I mentioned Alicia Perry. She should be coming back in editing. She hasn't actually fully acknowledged that yet and said yes to that, but I'm saying it here. I'm going to hopefully talk to her before next week. And she's down. And the fact that I have somebody like that I can lean on, that we've created a good process in editing, I know that we're going to be able to get that project done in a timely manner, along with the DVD. That's worth knowing as well, because that is a novel thing that people are not done buying. They want that DVD on the shelf. And so, we're still going to produce DVDs as well, and that's going to be a slightly separate project, but we're budgeting for all that time this year. And And my hope is that the DVD will come out before Christmas. I'd love to think that we're cranking out episode 1 somewhere around there, or in the winter at least. I know last year I was a little bit optimistic last year. I rolled it out and I was like, here comes the Chuckwagon docuseries. We'll have episodes coming in the fall, and man, no way. I mean, it was so humbling to do the project. I mean, it's absolutely a gigantic project. So I'm excited. We're going to bring season 2 to you. We've got the green light. That'll be coming. That'll be, as of right now, that'll be released on the Chuckwagon channel later this year, hopefully December time, maybe January, just depends. Now we can say that we've done it, and it's just going to be better. It's just going to be bigger and better, which is just going to keep adding. And little insight, little tiny tidbit, call it a rumor, call it hopefully should happen. I think the plan right now is that we're going to focus on buckboards. And last year we went after the classic. I feel like the buckboard division is really interesting. It's really fast. I've gotten to be in the mix of a lot of those players that race during the year, and I think it's a really good one to kind of segue over to for season 2, knowing that we're probably going to have more seasons in the future, and we're going to keep it, getting further and deeper down this rabbit hole of chuckwagon racing and everything, and not probably, we definitely are. So yeah, we're going to be looking at buckboards, and maybe at some point here we'll start bantering about the teams we should be focusing on.
And it will be better, because even with the first one, going on to the second one, it's going to take out any guesstimation work that there is. And now everything can be intentional, which is just going to make it 10 times better.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm excited because I'm going to have Andy Horton back there on the crew. Andy, how do you feel knowing we're going into like a second season of this, being part of the crew and knowing you're going to be flying that drone, adding a little technology here and there? Where's your head at going towards Clinton like 4 or 5 weeks from now?
I'm excited about adding, there's a few more things that we talked about. I don't know how that's going to play into the story itself, or how we can leverage some of what we talked about doing to maybe get everyone else excited about what we're doing. I think there might be some opportunities there to do that and to advertise with what we're bringing to the table. But flying the drone is like, I'm not going to say it's like watching paint dry. It's just, it's like, it's not as creative of a process as it's a thing that needs to be done, and it just falls into a routine. So like once I start doing it, I'm going through a motion.
Yeah.
I really don't know. Like it's kind of, you said this earlier, it's like we're still kind of trying to figure out exactly what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. Obviously there's going to be, some different tech and stuff that's going to be used this year that, I'm curious to see how that fits in and how that works out. So that'll be cool. I've got a better idea this time around of, what the story that we're trying to tell, and kind of more of the kind of the shots and the interactions and stuff that I need to be focusing on to try to get. I feel like maybe there were some opportunities that I missed last time around that, maybe I can, things that like weigh in and, some of the camp interviews, stuff like that. Some of the stuff down at the arena, maybe there might have been some story there that got left on the table, depending on what we want to do. It should be cool. But as far as the drone flying goes, to me, it becomes a routine. And at some point, I feel like I'm not necessarily even there for all of the countless moments that things are going okay. I'm there for the 3 moments during the weekend or whatever where they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Like when the drone completely loses its camera and I have to fly it back to myself blind and land it.
Well,
That's happened before.
man, I gotta say though, like I know like what you're saying about it being very repetitive, but holy cow, you are good at it though, and you've really perfected the science of like flying over those races. And um, I mean, when you're watching it, when I'm using that footage to edit the video together later, I find myself cutting to the drone all the time. Like honestly, if we had to leave one angle on at all times, it would be the drone. I mean, it's absolutely it's there at the race all the time. I mean, it just puts you right into the race, and I just think that it's so cool. So, yeah, no, small update, small thing that we know we're adding on this year. We're going to be running a live feed from the drone over to the pavilion with all kinds of futuristic technology that's going to get that onto some televisions over there. And that's going to be a step in that direction of doing some more experimenting a little bit more to see what we can do to improve the experience over there at Clinton. Let your mind go wild with that. I mean, you could imagine where TVs could be in different places and just making that experience even better. But anyways, no, I love that. I'm glad that everybody's getting hyped up. And this year, I'm also hoping that we get Justin involved because Justin's off duty. He's not the
Oh
starter.
yeah.
He's not the starter at Clinton. I mean, he'll probably apply at some point, but he's uh he's free range. He gets to do whatever he wants during the week at Clinton, which I saw you in some of my video. You had a really nice shirt on. Another spoiler there. If you guys can spot him and send him maybe some nice messages about the shirt he was wearing, it was pretty funny. But yeah, moving along here. So while we're talking about Chuckwagon channel material, glad to let everybody know that we're going to start getting caught up on the outlaw and the association races that we've been shooting this year. Our biggest goal in 2024 was to get about as many races as possible into the boat and set sail towards growing the sport as a whole. It's awesome to know that we have the ability to cater promotional material and content to almost all the Chuckwagon races that are happening across the Midwest and the Mid-South going into 2025. So coming into 2024, along with Clinton, of course, we had a heavy focus on really promoting Whiskey Ridge and Malvern and in Malvern, and then Baker Spain in Greenfield, Missouri. Those were the two that we were really exclusively working with last year as we were rolling out the Chuckwagon channel in 2023. And the feedback from those events and the owners at those racetracks, which I mean, it's just been incredible. The events, I feel like those were two events that were already really well established, but they have had noticeable growth in the last year. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that. But I think that we all felt the presence, at least, of those promotional videos that were out on social media and going out on the Chuckwagon channel and stuff like that. And that's probably the most rewarding feeling for me, to see that stuff come full circle and see visible success happening, like just in the sport, to know that we're making a difference by going and shooting these events, creating the channel, putting the promos out there. I was talking to Todd Wheeler the other day whenever I was at the RATS race, and he just, like, we both just agreed, like, we can both see and we can feel this movement happening in the Chuckwagon racing community at the events. The attendance is up, the productions are getting better. The association has over 500 active members, and we're starting to make some noise outside of just that niche Chuckwagon racing community. So, man, it's cool. It's awesome.
Well, the fact that, you had the RATS race, all right, and there being 98 teams, that's unheard of for a first year track.
Hmm.
Unheard of.
Wow.
I mean,
I did not know
98
that.
teams is 98 teams is a lot. So, the fact that it's growing that much and that you're having that many at one track, I mean, one track, let alone a new track.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Man, and it's like the perfect segue, because I want to talk about that. I want to talk about the RATS race, the RATS Chuckwagon race, which RATS is is kind of the nickname that everybody has given to Jerry Langley, which I got to meet him when I was down there. Jerry Langley is technically the guy that gave me the green light to come and film. And what a nice guy, class act, super nice guy. Him and he had kind of deployed Alex Slaughter to really go do the heavy lifting on a lot of the promoting and the preparation and everything for that event. And Alex's dad, Tracy Slaughter, was also helping. And not only did they put on a great event that had great great feedback, they actually had a great racing weekend too, which I'd like to hit on that here in a minute too. But some of the general feedback, as you said, Justin, was that they had a fast track. People that I was talking to that I interviewed said they had a great first time experience there. They said the concerts and the food and the shopping, they were all incredible. And the weather, coincidentally, was just fantastic weather. I mean, it got a little hot during the afternoon during the races, but we had a breeze. At night, it was just perfect for throwing up a projector and watching a TV series about chuckwagon racing. So that was pretty cool. But Justin, let's throw it over to you. I want to know. I want to get a little bit of the results on what happened during the races.
Well, everything kicked off just the way it needed to. We didn't the first day, of course, beautiful weather, perfect. Now, I will say this: we did have a couple of complications on the track where they had to put some sand out there. They did that before the races, but when the racers are racing and you've got a speedy track like that, because it's flat, it's got green grass, it's a fast track. But when you've got sand, and in some areas it was pretty thick, that's going to slow those race teams down, and you definitely saw that. They're in the first corner. They're at the end of the track, right before the timers. You saw a lot of race teams that were going very fast that hit that sand and immediately slowed down.
Mm-hmm.
So it did affect their times. But if you look at a lot of the other tracks, you're going to have those tracks that are, have a little bit of a hill, they have a dip, they have a little, creek path you have to go through or whatever.
Sharp turns. Yeah.
Yep, sharp turns. So I don't think it affected the times all that much, because, you have that slick, fast track straight away, and you have a wide turn. It was a wide track, when you look at Loretta Lynn, and it's a very thin track. You're talking about probably 25, 30 yards in between, the two straight stretches, where this one was like more 60 probably yards in between.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you felt like you were like looking across a lake to try to see to the other side almost, the way this one kind of horseshoed out a little bit. It was pretty wide.
Yep. And of course, when we go back and we talked about the last podcast episode, on episode 1, we talked about Full House and Full Throttle Loca, right? Buckboard division.
Mm-hmm.
You look at this race, Full Throttle Loca came out with number 1. Full House, second place. They're kind of doing that back and forth between each other, Full House win, and now this is twice in a row that Full Throttle Loca has hit the top of the board. So that's kind of interesting, and coming along to Clinton, that'd be something interesting to see as well.
Yeah, I had a really good interview with Jana following the awards ceremony. She is nothing short of ecstatic about how everything's been kind of trending this year, and they've got the confidence rolling. Their ponies are healthy, knock on wood. She has gone all in on making sure that she's doing everything right. And yeah, man, she is ecstatic with Cindy Wheeler as the cook there. They're looking tip top right now, and it doesn't change the fact that we know how fast Brad's team is. We've seen them run very fast this year, and there was actually in that race, there was, I believe, a call out from Brent Henderson. I think Brent Henderson called her out, right?
Yeah.
Because and a call out in these association races is like the opportunity to basically say, hey, I want you. I want to race you. And that might be because you are safe
Nice.
and slow and I won't get hurt if I race against you. But it might be I got beef with you. Or it might be I want to run against the best.
Right.
And that's what happened with Brent Henderson's team, which is Bar H Ranch and Rodeo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, and that's a team that's gone to Clinton and won it, and I know that because I've interviewed them and I've seen them flying around the track down there, and they know how to race, and then I also interviewed Brent, and Brent was just like, she's just fast. I mean, he just pretty much said it like Jana is just fast. She's flying right now, and so we wish the best for every single one of these teams. We want everybody to be healthy, and we want everybody to give their best shot when they get out there on the track, and we want people to feel like they earned it too. And that's one of the things that's so cool about Jana's story is she's been grinding, and you can tell that she's wanted it for a long time, and there would be nothing better that could possibly happen for her and her team than to go to Clinton and have success. So that's going to be a team to watch down there. If you're in that Friday night Calcutta, watch out for Full Throttle Loca. And don't forget, even though he didn't win these last two races, Brad House did win the last two national championships, and he knows how to do that. So heads up.
Yeah, he's I actually had a conversation with him after the races, and he said that something just wasn't sitting right with the ponies, and he was gonna get them checked out and everything before Clinton. So if he can get them back up and running, and maybe get them that little break where they have a couple of weeks off before Clinton, I think it'll be a sight to see for sure. But moving on to the classic division, what we talked about last week was you brought up Derek Hands. Derek Hands came in first this past weekend. They ran an incredible race, and Trump Train came in second. So again, Trump Train still up there. They're at the top of the list like they've been doing. So that's really good. And then another one is I know we didn't talk about it last week, but Big Horse Rubber Tire, they're we didn't see Half Breed for a few races there for a little bit. That's Houston Blankenship drives that team. He came in, got first place for the weekend on Big Horse Rubber Tire. But I'll tell you what, just to show you how these cowboys do out there, they don't only look after their own team, they look after other people and their teams as well. They're all family, and they had an incident on your 4-up this past weekend with Seuss Pond. And what did Houston do? He came in when Michelle was hurt on Sunday and couldn't race. He raced a couple of her teams for her, and actually opted out of his own teams. He scratched on his team, so he ran for her for Seuss Pond, which is, it's just, I have so much respect for them, that they can give up on their teams to do something, even a competitor. Seuss Pond is a competitor in some cases, and for him to drive for her and let her rest up, that says what kind of man he is.
Yeah, those are the people that are in this sport. That's what's great about it. It's part of what makes the community so strong around the races. It's why they do come back. It's why they do travel so far to go to these races, because it's not just like you're showing up to play a volleyball tournament on the weekend or something, like against a bunch of random people.
Right.
Like it's family, and it's hard work. It's teamwork amongst all the teams, just to get through the weekend. You're traveling with, these giant equestrian animals, and, anything can happen at any time, whether that's on the track or at the campsite when someone gets loose or something pops off. I mean, you just never know. And everybody is always there, just jump in and help out. Right on the note of what you were saying about the classic teams, totally agree. I just watching last year's races and seeing Derek Hands and how they were running. I mean, if they can get an outrider, I mean, it's really them and it's several teams. I mean, like B&B last year, they shoot out of there like a cannon, and there are some teams that, man, it just boils down to an outrider. Like, I hope that this year, I hope we get 3 or 4 teams that all run in the 58s and we get the runoff we've all been waiting for.
Yeah. But I will say this. So it will be a little bit of a spoiler alert. I'm sorry, but it's got to be talked about. But when B&B in the classic division goes and cuts in on the track, and Dapple said, he had to make a decision. It was either him going to be in a wreck or he was going to have to cut on the other side and, get dead last most likely, or he cut on the inside of the track. By looking at it, he only had one option for him,
Right.
and that was to cut on the inside of the track. And see, that's what's great about these racers is, when you're a veteran racer, you see it more. When you're a newbie racer, and there's nothing wrong with starting out, but you have to be aware of your surroundings. And that's one of the things that these veteran racers do so well, is they look around, they're aware of where the other teams are. They can see, I'm not going to make that. I'm going to have to get out of the way.
Yep.
And save my team, save a wreck, save whatever, and that's the great thing about some of these veteran racers and these rookie racers. It's one of the things that they'll need to do as well, because I think the key element to racing is going to be your awareness.
Yeah. I mean, and we love to see some rookies come in and bring a little excitement into the mix for sure, because
yeah, absolutely.
Because if you want to make a veteran racer a little bit uncomfortable, put a rookie racer in there with them, because they know that anything can happen, and they know that there's a lack of experience sitting there, racing next to them. And man, don't miss Clinton is all I can say. So speaking of Clinton.
Right.
Couple of little things, we mentioned that we're going to have a drone feed going over to the pavilion, but another little thing to put on your minds that Dapple has announced is that it looks like they're going to have an open mic night, you guys. And I mostly know about this because Dapple reached out to me and said, first of all, do you think this is a good idea? I was like, I think it's a great idea. I think it's awesome. She was like, so you're going to sing, right? I was like, sure. Yeah, I'll sing, whatever. And she was like, you're going to host it, right? I was like, host it. Let's see here.
That's a great way to find new talent. Open mic night,
Yep.
and that's what another thing is that if you're interested in singing or you have a band, we're gaining races. So if you have a talent and you think it'd be well suited at one of these races, you get a hold of a racetrack owner. Believe me, or you come find me, I'll talk to them for you. But the more we gain races, the more we're going to have a necessity to bring in new talent, and so that way it's not the same people every year. Not that they're bad. I'm just saying.
Yeah, well,
it's always good to have somebody new.
Well, I hope that we get to see I hope we see some of that top talent at open mic night. And, when the sun goes down in Clinton, you never know what's going to happen. But open mic night, I think it's Wednesday night. And I know that Dapple has asked that those that want to be a part of open mic night, please call in and basically make a reservation so that they can do that professionally. And I don't know if they're going to announce who's hosting that, but I'll throw a little note out there for you guys. One word: monkey. Monkey.
Or David Selby.
No. I will be far too busy filming season 2. And and I'm excited to see what happens in open mic night. But I am curious to know, for you guys that do karaoke or an open mic, what would be your talent? Or if you don't feel comfortable with a talent, what is your song that you would absolutely, if you had to do it, what would your song be, or what's your talent?
Talking
Just
about for us.
mm-hmm.
Well, I actually have some experience singing. I've recorded a little bit. I did an Arkansas Great Talent Search. I went to American Idol in Oklahoma City. I
Wow.
also did a little tour. I sang in Texas and Missouri and Mississippi, and in Arkansas. But yeah,
So you're kind of a big deal. Okay.
no, absolutely not.
So what's the jam? What is your go-to?
Well, it's a slower song, but it's a song that, means a lot to me, and I put a lot of emotion into it, which probably makes it why it's one of the best songs that I sing. But that's called Believe by Brooks and Dunn.
Oh, wow.
But I'll also do a little Elvis impersonation sometimes. I've done that before for some churches, retirement communities, things like that. But
Yeah.
anyway,
People
Andy.
people that will appreciate it.
Yeah,
So that's good. Thanks for the rocket fuel there, like a little bit of firepower that I'm gonna hold you to that later. Andy,
well,
what?
I've sang karaoke at some of the races.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think somebody's got a video of me holding a beer singing karaoke.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have to find that and put that out here on social media, if you ask me.
Oh Lord.
All right, Andy,
well, you
what's
won't
your
find
jam?
one of those. You won't find one of those videos of me. Oh no! If you held a gun to my head and said sing, it would go off. Like that's. I mean, that's it. I don't have the musical talent God gave a goose.
Oh man.
So, I mean, there's.
You
Yeah.
know how to juggle? That's a talent.
No, I can't even do that.
Oh.
I can't juggle. I've tried.
So Andy's gonna do a drone flying demonstration.
A tutorial.
Yep.
A
Since
tutorial. Yeah.
we've already got the technology to get it onto the TVs, so he's gonna do a tutorial. He's gonna get the drone in the air with the TVs behind him, and he's gonna go fly over to Dan Oaf's house and tap on the window, and and harass and scare the crap out of Dan Oaf.
He'll love that.
Well,
so where is the open mic going to be? Is this going to be up on the hill where the actual stage is, or is it going to be down at by the arena?
yeah, no, I asked Apple. I was like, "Is there not like a performance on Wednesday night?" And it's music is going to be live music with Lori Morgan and Leroy Parnell, and that's at 8 p.m. What you don't see on the schedule yet is when that open mic is. I asked Dapple, will this be like an open mic opener for the band that night, or is this going to be the headliner and they're opening for open mic night? And
All right.
and she said both. So you can assume that there's going to be a first half and a second half, and the second half is probably going to be the little bit looser experience. I'm going to guess that's going to be more your karaoke whenever that concert's over. So it could be a party over there at the hotel up on top of the hill Wednesday night. So just getting that news out to you guys.
So they're going to do this before she takes stage, and then they're going to do it again after.
Yeah, I think formally they're going to do it before the concert, and then informally it'll probably happen some more after the concert. That's my guess.
Well, you can always find some drunk fools that'll get on the stage and just sing.
Yep.
That's why I don't drink.
And that is why Monkey is going to be hosting the open mic night, because he knows how to deal with those people, and I just know how to pick up the camera and record what's happening. So, okay, well, before we peace out here, I did make a promise that we are going to talk about our upcoming guests. So, big news: we have been in contact with Chase Outlaw, who, talking about season 2, he's going to be doing the Chuck and Buck Rodeo on Grass, the sequel, and that will be once again Thursday night at Clinton. And you've probably seen a little bit of stuff starting to pop up on social media, but he's starting to promote that. and I think they're going to bring it back and do it bigger and better than ever. And Chase Outlaw is going to be on the show with us, recording on Tuesday this coming week, which will be the episode that we'll be releasing on Thursday to our subscribers and on Friday to the public. And then following that episode, we will have Dan and Peggy Oaf, the real OGs, the originators of this great sport that we all love down here in the Mid-South and the Midwest. And we're just going to pick their brains, and we're going to figure out some of the things that some of those questions that we've all had in our minds. Just pull the curtain back and let those guys talk for a little bit. And I'm excited about it. So I think we got 2 really strong guests coming up here in the next couple weeks. So I'm looking forward to it.
I am too, but if he does that chucking buck down on the ground again, I guarantee you Dan won't go back down.
Oh man. Spoiler alert. Oh man.
Gosh.
Yeah, if you want to see the recap of Dan's previous encounter with Chuck and Buck, go check out episode 4, because that was Thursday night at season 1. So check it out. Well, anyways, it's been a pleasure, everybody. It's been a pleasure, you guys. Once again, go check out the Chuckwagon channel. Check us out at chuckwagonchannel.com or at Chuckwagon Channel on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. And don't forget to go like our new Facebook page for the CWC podcast. We appreciate y'all, and we'll see you out on the racetrack.
Thanks for listening to the CWC podcast.